Hey everybody, Sean here from BoredParacord. Today we're going to make a friendship bracelet. Actually, this is for my wife. So this is going to have little beads on the friendship bracelet that represent, the different months that people were born. So right now, I've already made these, and what these are kind of cool. These are Paracord. Let's see if it'll capture this for you. These are just paracord, the outer sheath of the paracord, as you can see through it. These are going to be our beads, or our beads. So right now I've already made two of these. There's an acid purple here, and then there's also the cream, which is that one there, and then turquoise, and the actual bracelet itself is going to be the charcoal color here. And let me show you how we need to make another one of these beads. I just have a piece of scrap here. I'm going to get this stuff out of the way because I think it's trying to focus on that. So you need to pull out the inner strands. The other end here is sealed, so I'm just pulling them out and then it'll shrink back in. Cutting those off. You could also cut both ends of this off and then just pull the strands out. That's probably the easier way. So now I'm just left with this outer sheath here. And I want a fresh cut here. And you're going to want a really sharp pair of scissors when you do this. So that you have a nice clean cut like you see there. And so to start, you are going to use a torch lighter or just a regular lighter and just barely hit the end of this cord with your lighter. So I'm just kind of just tapping the flame on, and then you're going to take a fid, go into that cord, and the reason why you do it before you put the fid in there is so that the end doesn't fray out from you. And right now, the reason I'm doing this, it's just so that I can make sure that the fid will fit in there, because we're going to be going through these beads in the next step. And I'm going to hit this again just so that these are all together so that they won't fray. Be very careful you don't burn yourself doing this. That should fit through there. So now I'm going to kind of guess. I don't have an exact measurement of these. So I'm just going to guess at how wide I need to make these so that they're the same size. I'm going to guess about right there. Hopefully I'm right. And you want to be very careful when you do this part because this piece is very short and you don't want to get your fingers in there. This might be a little too long. I'm going to go off camera real quick just so I can cut this, shave it down just a tiny bit. I hope I didn't mess this up. But I cut just a little bit of length off of there. And I'm going to put this in there just to make it into a circle. And then being very careful, you're going to tap this again so that the cord doesn't fray. And be very careful you don't burn your fingers. Fortunately for you, you probably don't have these overhead lights, so you can actually see the flame. When I'm doing this, I cannot see the flame. Alright, this one did not turn out quite as good as the first two. It's a little iffy on that one. But one thing you can do is put these beads onto your fid like this, and then you can use your fid to hold the cord while you touch up your sides or your edges. Okay, so that actually helped quite a bit right there. Just be careful, your fit will get hot. All right, so I'm actually going to leave this on here because now what I need to do is the piece of cord that we're going to do the bracelet with, I need to screw the fit onto this because we're actually going to be pulling this cord through these beads so that they sit on the center of the bracelet. So we'll go ahead and melt the end of that, and then we can use that to thread it through. And hopefully it locks in. Yep, it locked pretty good. Now we're going to slide these beads off of the fid, just like this, and onto the bracelet like that. And they should slide pretty easily. Actually, I may not even need the fid, because that one slid on there pretty easy. So let's put this one on next. Yeah, you don't need a fid for this. That worked pretty good. And then we'll do one more, acid purple. Alright, so let me zoom out so you can see kind of what we're doing. I'll get rid of some of this stuff here. There we go. So these are going to go to the center of the bracelet. So this part of the bracelet is like what you see on my wrist. That's the center point on the top of the wrist. We have to do the knots on the back side, but this will sit on the top. Looks pretty cool. I could have spent a little more time, making these beads. I thought that they had to be really big, like a big wide opening to get them through onto the paracord, but these are sliding really easy. I thought they were going to be pretty tight. You could definitely play around with that part of it and make these look a little nicer, but I think that turned out pretty good. So let's move on to doing the actual bracelet. So you want to take your center point, which is right here, and kind of create a loop with the paracord. So you have something that looks like that. Now we're going to put a knot here, and we're going to put a knot here. So the first one is you want to just kind of pinch the cord like this, and you're going to wrap away from your fingers that you're pinching. Okay? So you'll do one loop like that. Now you want to cross it and do another one like this. So you'll have two loops, and then you go under everything through the loops, kind of just pull it tight. And what will happen is you're going to have two things. You're going to have an equal sign on one side and a cross or a multiplication symbol on the other side. And keep it kind of loose because we might have to adjust here in just a minute. And you can see I kind of pulled that one a little tighter, so we close this loop up a little bit. And I'm going to actually slide it back just a little bit. This is definitely not something where you can measure your wrist and know exactly where these knots go. There's a little bit of trial and error when doing this. So the same thing, you're going to pinch, go under, over, so just like this, and then bring that over like that to the left, and now you want to wrap it back to the left. And after the second one, after you have your second loop here, take this, oops, you're going to go, you got to make two full passes, and then you can go under. So 1, 2, all the way through, and pull it tight, and that'll give you your X on one side and your equal sign on the other. I'm going to do that one more time because that was kind of confusing. Okay, so I have my working end here, my bracelet here, pinch them together so that they're like that, go under the bracelet, go around, and then you're just looping this through twice, so get two full loops just like that, and then take your cord and go underneath those loops and out the other side. And that'll give you your X on one side, like that, and your equal sign there. So X and the equal sign. And then just pull these a little tight, because you may have to run your cord through here to adjust the size of it. And then what you want to do is pull your knots all the way out to the furthest point. See if you can get your hand through there. If you can just barely get your hand through there, you're in the right spot. If not, you will need to adjust the cord going through one of the knots. One of the knots can stay, because everything can be adjusted just by using one knot. So I think this is a little too loose right now, so I'll show you how to go ahead and tighten this up. So I need to pull some of this cord. So when I loosen that up, this is the cord that I want to basically run through the knot. So I know that it's going into here. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. Oh, that was way in. Okay, so I know that this cord here is coming out over here. So I can go around here, pull that slack out like that, and then I'm going to run the slack through this whole entire knot, and it's going to loosen the knot up quite a bit. So I'll pull it this way. I'm just getting all this slack out, and see, it came out right here. So once you get some of the slack, you can kind of further tighten it just by twisting the knot kind of in a circular motion, if that kind of makes sense. All right, and then go ahead and pull everything tight. And now you can see I can, if I really try hard, I can get my hand through there. And then when you go and tighten it, you're just pulling these knots like that, and you have your bracelet. One thing that we still need to do is make sure that these knots are nice and tight, and then we can cut the slack off. So I'm going to tighten that knot there. I think I do want to make this a little bit tighter. So I'm going to run this slack out this way, which will bring the knot this through here. This is a really, really hard knot to kind of demonstrate on how I'm getting the slack out, because there's not a lot of room here. But basically, you're just running that extra slack through the knot and out the, the working end here. That'll get rid of all that slack. There we go. All right, I think that's pretty close to where I need it to be. So I'm going to tighten these knots up, and what we need to do is cut the cord here and then singe it. And you got to be really careful. You want to singe, or you want to melt the cord to the knot, but not to the portion that it slides on. So if you take a look, this cord is sliding through the knot when I pull it. That's where the slack is. So you need that knot to be able to move freely. So you have to be really careful when you cut and melt this cord that you're not melting it to the moving cord here, but to the knot itself. Cut there. And see how I melted it just to the knot and not to the cord that's coming through there. That way you can still slide the knot. So I just pulled this cord through there, and we can still move through there. Alright, so let's do the other side real quick. Pretty easy to do. Just cut it close to the knot. Like that. Make sure your sliding cord is out of the way, and then hit it with the lighter. And I just use the back side of the lighter. I don't have my smoothing tool sitting here, but that's enough to keep it from pulling in. But there it is. That's so this is a birthstone friendship bracelet, completely made out of paracord. Like I said, these could probably be done a little nicer. I'm not really sure how you would do that yet. I'm gonna mess with this a little bit. I do like that they move. That's kind of cool. So yeah, some people may like this so that these fit nice and snug on there, but at least be a little movable so that they can get them into the center point. I hope you really like this. I've always thought about doing this video for this type of bracelet. Not sure why I have never done this one. It's pretty simple, and it's cool that it's completely made out of paracord. If you need anything as far as paracord supplies go, you can find them on our website, BoredParacord.com. And then also our Facebook group is pretty large now. It's 45,000 members strong, so check that out, facebook.com/groups/paracord on. And thank you for watching. Until next time, paracord on. Do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button to your left. There's other great videos all the time, and there's a few to the right side of the screen, and you can also buy Paracord at our site with the link at the bottom left. Thank you again for watching.